What's up, everybody? Rob Ferretti here, and today I am going to take you through a couple of automotive trends and modifications that should be illegal to do to your car. Or at least not do to your car, but illegal to have on a road. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rob, you've got some race cars, you've got some craziness that you've driven on the roads. A lot of the $500 car stuff was a joke. And a lot of the stuff that I have done to my Corvette and my Supra are performance related. So if anything, we'll separate that and say that performance modifications that make a car handle or perform better should be absolutely legal at any extent. Only because I think it's impossible to say, sir, you have made your car stop too well for the street. It handles too well for the street. The stuff that I want to talk about today is the stuff that makes a car inherently dangerous. And probably no more obvious than the Stance Miata that I have. And the Stance Miata is a complete, I don't want to sugarcoat it, we'll say it's a death trap. And the idea that you're going to overly camber your car so that your wheels are like this, you have much less contact patch, you're much less capable of avoiding or stopping or doing anything that would require accident avoidance. Like right now I'm avoiding the hole in the ground. Not that that's impossible to navigate in a Stance car, but it makes it incredibly unsafe. Stretching the tires, all of these modifications are stupid. All they are is for looks and appearance, and they provide no value other than saying, hey, look at me, which to be fair is great in a parking lot, but you should not be able to take that on the road. The same could be said for donks. What's a donk? That's not a donk. This is a donk. That's a Crocodile Dundee thing. However, for all of those people who watch me, which is probably most of you, or have no idea what I'm talking about there, Ian, can we grab that from the archives without violating any copyright laws? I don't know. We're not going to do it. But watch Crocodile Dundee. You'll find out what a donk is. In the car world, a donk is a vehicle which is lifted and on giant wheels. That means like the wheel, like, and we're talking donks are, I would say donks probably start at 26 inches. I'm sure there's some sort of threshold with the guy with the 24s. It's like, no, man, this is a donk. But I'd say like 26 to say 32 inch wheels constitutes a donk. And they usually go on the older, like 60s and 70s, maybe even 80s cars. And you take a relatively mundane car. Some people use like nice 69 Camaros and whatnot. You take a mundane car, you put giant wheels on it, and you roll around like this. And to me, that makes no sense, because that car, and I've seen them driving in Florida, where it's like sort of fair game because there's no inspection in Florida. That car is sort of dangerous, because if you have to do an evasive maneuver, they don't ride well, they don't do anything well except look outlandish. And looking outlandish is great, again, for a parking lot, but it is not great when you're mingling it with other traffic and making it unsafe. You can make the argument, well, it probably stops and handles better than an 18-wheeler, but this is a car. You're taking something that had a specific performance capability and completely obliterating it and making it perform worse. There is nothing that you should ever be able to do to a car to make it perform worse on a street, because all you're doing is now increasing the risk level to yourself and others with the vehicle that you're choosing to drive. On that same sort of platform, you could say putting wheels that are too small on the car is dangerous. And when you put the little wire wheels, let's say 13, like almost look slightly larger golf cart wheels. When you put those on the car, it's unsafe. They're gonna have to spin at a different speed. Well, obviously they spin at a different speed because they're smaller, but it's just unsafe to have such small wheels on a car. Your contact patch is less because you have a bigger car, smaller wheels. You're not gonna really have the same stopping distance that you had. You're not gonna have the same maneuverability because you're gonna have a lot more weight trying to attack that same small contact patch where it was once much bigger. All of these things are just for show, and that is not a reason to modify a car. I've got no problem. You wanna put stickers on your car, you wanna wrap your car. As much as I sort of am not a fan of some of these, and even the fake portholes and everything, I don't agree with any of those, but they don't make your car unsafe. I care about the stuff that makes the car unsafe and therefore shouldn't be roadworthy or road legal. Another one which is common, and even I have it on this car, is tints. And I'm okay with tints, but when the tints are too dark, at nighttime, I can't see my side view mirrors. I took the tint off the rear glass on this car because I couldn't see out the back at night. And I've had people, dude, why are your windows tinted and the back's not? If you have tinted windows or dark tinted windows and on top of that tinted taillights, why are you tinting your taillights? Your taillights are meant to signal to other people that you're stopping or slowing down. There's no reason to make it harder for people to differentiate whether your taillights are just glowing or you're trying to stop. That is not good. It is unsafe and it should not be legal for use on the road. Now, tints, to be fair, are not legal and measured in a certain degree, but in places like Florida, you can have death black limo tints and that's not illegal. But if you do want to have super dark tints, you should be required to have your windows down at night so you can actually see and operate your vehicle properly. And I understand the value to tints. Tints do keep the car a little bit cooler in hot climates, in the desert climates, in the Florida, and I mean, we're going global here. So in hotter climates, tints do serve a purpose, but they also block your vision, and that's not good. Maybe you tint everything but the area you'd be looking out your mirror. I'd be okay with that, but there has to be some form of safety that can't be jeopardized, or there's got to be a level of safety that cannot be jeopardized by having those tints. This one may be slightly controversial, but Lambo doors on anything but Lamborghinis or cars designed from the factory with the safety mechanisms to blow the latches if the car is upside down is incredibly unsafe. Now, well, I don't plan on being upside down. Nobody does. I don't think there was a person in history that's ever gotten in a car that says, I expect to flip my car on this ride. And if you have Lambo doors, you are now trapped in your car, and it's not uncommon for cars that are with engines are very hot to catch fire or something to catch fire in the case of an accident. So if you're now stuck in the car, you're roasting to death for no reason other than you wanted your doors to go up. And a lot of them, because they're not designed to go up, modified Lamborghini doors generally have to go out and then up. So you may have just enough gap to like look and say like, oh, if I didn't have these stupid doors, I'd be able to get out, and you can share that as your last thought, but it's a stupid modification. And the last two we're going to talk about is dramatically changing the ride height on your car, lowering it all the way to the ground, so bam, bam, you're bumping down the ground and everything like that. It throws off the balance of the car. If you're going through a turn and your car is now skipping because the wheels are coming up in the air, that's unsafe. If you raise your car up so the center of gravity is much different, so you can sort of roll your car over going through a turn, also not good. These modifications are perfectly fine if you're driving around your farm or you're doing whatever you want, you're driving off-road parking lots, your trailer it to and fro. I got no problem with any of that. But when you're on the road and you're now a hazard, if something happens, and that's always ultimately what happens, things happen that you're not expecting, causing you to make an evasive maneuver or avoidance maneuver, and now your car is unable or less capable of handling those because of the modifications you did to your cars. All of the ones that I listed today should not be legal for road use, and in a lot of places they're not, but in their other states they are. You shouldn't do it, and it's all an appearance thing. There's a lot of stuff you can do to your car appearance-wise that doesn't jeopardize the drivability and the ability to keep you safe when you have to be safe. So guys, thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure I missed one or two modifications. I didn't get into the silly stuff like gluing two cars together, or like what I did with the van where I cut it in half and stitch it back together, because you know what? That's meant for a gag, and that's not meant for somebody's like toy that they're gonna drive around. I'm talking about people that are driving these cars around as an expression of themselves, an expression of whatever they're doing, and essentially being unsafe while doing so, and that's really where I take issue. So all of those car trends need to go. They're unsafe and they shouldn't be allowed on the roads. Let me know your thoughts. I'm sure I just pissed off like 6 car communities at once, but if you're part of that community, go ahead and justify it in the comments, and we'll see how it stacks up to logic. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.